Hi everyone, welcome to Avanit Academy. In today's class, we'll start Unit 5, Marginal Costing. Let's study the meaning of marginal costing. Marginal costing is a technique of costing. It is a special technique used for analysis and interpretation of cost data for the purpose of assessing the profitability of products, departments, and cost center. So this marginal costing is a technique of costing which is used to analyze and interpret the cost data to assess or to find out the profitability of products, departments, and cost center. Next is contribution. It is the difference between sales and variable cost of sales. And this contribution is also known as contribution margin or gross margin. Here are some formulas to calculate contribution and profit. Number one, contribution is equal to sales minus variable cost, or contribution is equal to fixed cost plus profit, or contribution is equal to sales into PV ratio. Okay, depend upon the problem. So whatever the information they have provided in the problem, on the basis of that, you have to take any one formula to calculate contribution amount. Next is to calculate profit. Formula is profit is equal to sales minus variable cost minus fixed cost, or profit is equal to contribution minus fixed cost. Let's solve one problem on calculation of contribution and profit. Find out contribution and profit. Sales rupees 26,000, variable cost rupees 12,000, fixed cost rupees 8,000. So here they have even sales variable cost amount and fixed cost amount. We'll start the solution. Contribution is equal to sales minus variable cost. Sales amount is rupees 26,000 and variable cost amount is rupees 12,000. From 26,000 minus 12,000, you will get rupees 14,000. That is contribution. Next is profit. Profit is equal to contribution minus fixed cost. Contribution, just we have calculated, that is 14,000, and fixed cost is rupees 8,000. From 14,000 minus 8,000, you will get rupees 6,000 is the profit. Like this, you have to calculate contribution and profit. Profit volume ratio or PV ratio. The profit volume ratio is also known as contribution ratio or marginal ratio. Is the ratio of contribution to sales. And this PV ratio is very important in decision making, and it can be used for the calculation of BEP, that is break even point. So this will study in next video. Let's see the formulas to calculate PV ratio. Number one, PV ratio is equal to contribution divided by sales. Number two, PV ratio is equal to sales minus variable cost divided by sales. Third, PV ratio is equal to change in contribution divided by change in sales. Fourth, PV ratio is equal to fixed cost upon BEP sales. Fifth, PV ratio is equal to change in profit or loss divided by change in sales. Sixth, PV ratio is equal to fixed cost plus profit divided by sales. And this one is to calculate sales volume required. That is fixed cost plus profit divided by PV ratio. So any one formula you have to apply to calculate PV ratio depend upon the problem. So what information they have provided in the problem. Let's solve one problem on PV ratio. Sales rupees 25,000, variable cost rupees 15,000. Calculate PV ratio. In this problem, sales and variable cost information is given and we have to calculate PV ratio. So here we'll apply this formula. PV ratio is equal to contribution divided by sales. Okay, PV ratio is equal to contribution divided by sales. Contribution is not mentioned in the problem, so we have to calculate, right? Solution. Contribution is equal to sales minus variable cost. Okay, sales and variable cost amount we have. So calculate contribution. Sales is rupees 25,000 and variable cost amount is 15,000. 25,000 minus 15,000, contribution amount is rupees 10,000. So we have got contribution amount. Let's calculate PV ratio. That is PV ratio is equal to contribution divided by sales. Contribution amount is 10,000 and sales amount is 25,000. 10,000 divided by 25,000 will get 0.4. Okay, PV ratio is 0.4. To convert this PV ratio in percentage, that is PV ratio in percentage, what we have to do? Take this PV ratio 0.4 into 100, T%. Okay, PV ratio is 0.4 or 40%. Percentage ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ into 100 ಮಾಡಿ you will get this PV ratio in percent or otherwise you can take this 0.4. For more such videos, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you friends.